Welcome everyone to Discourse. Today we're going to be discussing Book 1, Beyond the Father by Opesham. The first of 8 books that will give you pause and make you ponder. Beyond the Father sets the scene for the 8-book sci-fi epic Gods on Trial, the series, delving into life's determination to transcend all limitation. Set on the planet Xzyber, citizens of the Submedian region, imperfectly reborn into metal, oppress those who are organic. Elsewhere in the Central Kingdom, religion supports royalty's brutal domination of the lowest class. Rife with mounting tension, war over scarce resources is coming. Revolution within each region is brewing, and none know of the eccentric god who created them.
So book 1. So it takes place on a completely different planet Xzyber. So the people are known as Xyberians. It's completely different than what we're used to for sci-fi. The author does really good building people and planets. And before we get going, any reader that picks up the book, recommend that you look at the glossary, the definitions of what are Xyberians. There's mallards and non-mallards.
Like measurements of time, the seasons that they have on the planet. This really cool place called the Repository of Souls, which is awesome. Cool concept. So yeah, like Abel said, there's a lot of extreme world building in this first book. So there's a lot of foundation that's being laid. So there's a lot of side stories, things that are all happening at the same time. There's a lot of characters. There's a lot of backgrounds that the author is able to really go into and to cover, just so you have a really good baseline of where the story's taking off. So keep track. And also, the author also goes into how a lot of the names are lowercase and how and why some are uppercase, and that's all depending on basically status, right?
Yeah, status and also where they're from.
Right.
Like if they're from the Submedian regions, which is all the areas around the Central Kingdom that, in the summary, they're starting their own revolution, they're fighting for resources. And the main focus here from what I saw is that the Central Kingdom, or CK as the Submedians call them, they seem to be comprised of these mollards, which sounds like they're like a mixture of organic and minerals, or like robotic in a way, right?
Right.
Like these cyborgs?
Yeah, because we're on another planet, and I mean, they're alien to us, but just to kind of equivalent it to their humans, because they're organic life forms, versus the mollards, who are essentially metallic robots, perhaps. There's also people who are a percentage of Mollard. I would think of them as cyborgs or something.
Yeah, because there's a part where they're checking in for recruitment, I guess, into the revolution, or the mercenaries are 20% Mollard, 30%.
Right.
And then one showed up 100% Mollard, and they look at them like, what are you doing here? They're kind of seen as lower class, right? And expendable. It's a big difference where on the Central Kingdom you have these high religion rules. They're called, what is it?
Plebonians?
Yeah. And religion rules, but of course that benefits the king and queen and and them,
people
to rule the kingdom.
Yeah, the people who want to rule course. And take power.
Yeah. And it doesn't say it so far, but it seems like they're organic, right?
Yeah.
And they could regenerate their limbs, it seems. It's pretty crazy. And Thio oil, it's referenced a lot in the book and also in the glossary, how these organic people, they depend on Thio oil for their nutrition and survival.
Yeah.
So if they don't have that, I guess they slowly die, or they don't regenerate as fast. So it's a highly sought resource on both sides.
Yeah, and like I said, they regenerate. So they can lose a limb, but it can grow back.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. And pretty cool. And convenient.
Convenient, but so for the non-mollards, it's convenient, it's nice. But for the mollards, who, if they have these organic people in their armies, sure, they could regenerate, but it takes time. One of them is referenced, that's just inconvenient.
Yeah, and they're definitely not indestructible, right? They can die, so there's also that. It's oh, well, you're kind of useless. I need someone who won't and can't die to fight.
So it's interesting seeing their interactions and the differences, and a lot of the story seems to be depending on the Central Kingdom wants to expand.
Right.
And by expanding, they're going to take on most of these scarce resources, the teal materials.
I'm interested to see where the teal oil comes from.
Yeah.
I
imagine a tree.
No, I have sort of an idea, but maybe I'm totally wrong. Like we said, this is a very beginning of like an 8-book series. So we're given a lot of introductions to things. So we haven't quite worked out the intricacies just yet. But I feel like I kind of have a little idea of what the teal oil is or where it's coming from. But I could be totally wrong, since this is an alien world that I'm unfamiliar with.
Gotta read and see.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just interesting. But that's like a common thing. Scarce resources, conflicting sides. And with the expansion, the sub-median regions, they mentioned that right now they get them for free. You know, by the Central Kingdom expanding, they're going to take that and either charge them, hold them hostage, do whatever they want, make them slaves, absorb them. So they don't want to do any of that. So they're setting up an attack, and you see that in the background, and you get to meet other characters from the other side. But from the Central Kingdom, the main focus, it seems, we have King Thio, Queen Eveline, and this kid that...
And the Prince, Englid.
This dude, he just turned 18, right? So I believe also the book follows 18. You're an adult now.
Right.
The king is like, I'll give you any gift you want. Like, just name it. And he could have got like his own island, his own region to rule.
Literally anything. He could have had anything.
But
this guy.
He decides to go on a quest. And that quest, man... We hope to see more of it.
Yeah, it's super cool. I feel like this is my favorite element of this book, for sure.
Yeah, so this kid goes on a quest, and his pilot is telling him, we can't fly over there, Prince. You can't land because there's like a storm coming.
Right.
We could die.
It's
and
like
he's like,
super
no,
dangerous.
I want to land.
Yeah, it's super dangerous, and I need your permission to say, like, let's just go up higher into safer territory. Can we please do that, or are we going to die? And he's like, yeah, let's just die.
Yeah, this is my quest.
This
so
is
I
my
decide.
quest.
It's like, really, guy?
I love it. No, but I do love the back and forth of, like, them questioning authority, basically.
Yeah.
You know, having their own opinions about anything and everything and making their own decisions. Like, if this was just our normal world, they'd be like, oh, it's way too dangerous. We are going to go up and get out of this storm, okay? And everyone's going to survive. And then poor Prince Englid would have just had a boohoo in the back seat and been alive.
Yeah.
But instead, this society, they have to get the okay from their royal people, and they didn't get it. So he ends up crash landing. He's the only survivor.
Yep.
And he comes, we meet the coolest, I think, one of the coolest characters, a raptor, a bird of prey, which I imagine just as like this giant vulture-like creature that lives in snow. He's essentially feeding off of Englid as he's finally coming to after he crash lands.
He already took a leg, and it seemed like he was working on the other.
Oh my god. I can't, can you imagine waking up to just like a vulture, a giant vulture just chowing down on you?
Yeah.
Very polite.
Vulture.
I think that's why I like him so much.
Because when he's like, whoa, what are you doing? The vulture was like, oh, I am sorry, sir. Let me back up a few steps to make it more comfortable for you. But I honestly thought that you were dead.
Yeah, my bad, sir.
Let me just kindly sit here until you die, then I'll come back and finish feasting.
I'll just wait right here for you to die.
Like, what?
I know. I don't want to like give you any unnecessary pain. I thought you were dead.
Yeah.
I love that that the raptor was able to have a voice.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that, but it was actually pretty cool. A voice and also a set of rules that they follow.
Like he has like his own morals and ethics that he kind of abides by. back to Flexix though. So Flexix is this entity or like this god.
It's like a god that everyone forgot, but apparently he created these.
He literally created every single thing.
These Siberians and the galaxy.
Yeah, he's like the main dude that everyone forgot about, and he's still kind of overlooking everything.
And he's always like watching him and like talking smack, like, man,
yeah,
they worship this entity that's just like this figure that doesn't even move or do anything.
I should punish them.
Yeah. At first it's like, who's this guy talking to? But after you get to see, because every time it goes to him, it's just him.
Well, his back and forth with this other entity that his companion that he does talk a lot with. And I feel like they're always like bickering at each other.
Yeah.
Which is pretty funny. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys, and be sure to check out Book 1, Beyond the Father by Opession.